Wow. What an incredible turnout. Thank you for everybody showing up. It's incredible to be here to share really what we can do and how we can step into our endless potential and really become greater and more powerful and possible in every dimension of our lives. Did everybody get a book, The Life of Your Choice, when they first came in? Yes. Fantastic. If you didn't, be certain to get one after. This book is a guide/manual as to how you can step into your given powers and the gifts that have been bestowed upon you at birth, your endless potential. It is absolutely incredible. It's also my diary of how I went through what I went through and how I overcame different challenges and adversities and all the modalities that I've used and what I learned through it. So it's a gift through my journey to give it to you, so to show you how you can overcome and step above the challenges you're enduring, or anybody you even know that's going through a challenge. You can say, hey, this chapter works out well, read this one. It's fantastic. I've got the book by my bed and I read on it every day. Because I'm still trying to remember what I was thinking before. But it's absolutely amazing. So what this is really just a big journey of a story that really started back in 2005. I had two flourishing companies. I was a licensed carpenter, renovator, finished carpenter, and person who did construction and landscaping. I also owned a window washing and house washing business. Life was looking good. So good, I thought about getting another motorcycle. So I went down to the local motorcycle shop, take a bike out for a test ride. And he goes, Mr. Back, what bike would you like? I said, that rocket over there. So as he wheels it out, he told me to get my helmet. As I went out and got my helmet, pay attention to thought, guys. I'll be clicking on this multiple times throughout this talk. Thought. As I walked out towards the truck to grab my helmet, what runs through your mind? Well, oftentimes you think that we'd be thinking about, it's going to be a beautiful day. What a wonderful time to go out and play and just have fun and just experience this weather and this beautiful bike. But commonly, our thoughts happen to be, shit, I hope I don't get in an accident. Don't want to hurt myself. Definitely don't want to scratch the bike. And that's what we're entertaining as we're going out to enjoy the day. Well, I'm getting on the bike, and just as I got the helmet on, I got on the bike, I could hear it whisper, I dare you. You didn't. So I fired out towards the back roads, loving the fresh air and the freedom, avoiding all traffic and cars and attempting not to get myself injured. And I came upon this row of cars up ahead. And I figured, I want to just enjoy life and just enjoy freedom. And then the bike whispered up again, I dare you. That's a double dare, dude. You didn't. So I rang that throttle right around as far as it can go and just kept them going faster and faster, 120, 130, 140 kilometers an hour. And why were the cars slowing down? Because the front van was making a left-hand turn. I went slam right into the back end of the van. Blowing through the back window, and as I went through the back window, the glass partially severed my head all the way down to my esophagus, ripped me out of the vehicle, threw me 30 feet up in the air over some street lights, and equally as far down the road where I came down, landed on my face, snapping my head back, blowing my helmet in half, and destroying my body in many other ways. And I was very fortunate, the police officer was doing a speed trap down the road. Now I'm just curious, losing my license or losing my head? Greater lessons learned here, I guess. But he got there within 5 minutes, and when he called for the ambulance, the next exit off the highway was where I was, so that's another 5-7 minutes away. And fortunately, when they drove me to the local hospital, they airlifted me to a trauma unit hospital, technically dying en route to the hospital. When they flew me into Hamilton General, rushed me straight in for 10 surgeries in just 12 hours, attempting to cheat death 3 additional times. They induced me into a coma with my head partially severed. They couldn't put a brace on it, and I was all plugged in. They then came to my family and told my family, Daniel will never walk again. He'll never talk again, never eat solid foods, never move his left side, likely won't remember anything before the incident because he's been brain damaged. He's going to be a vegetable the rest of his days. Not hearing that, but feeling the energy from that, I got it, and I said, that's your opinion. That's your thoughts. My thoughts are, if I'm the owner of this vessel, I'm going to fix it. Let's make this bad boy work. So when I woke up out of the coma, I was blind, deaf, because I've only got one vocal cord, muted, and fully paralyzed on my left side because I endured 3 severe strokes and 4 massive heart attacks through the surgeries. So I couldn't see a dang thing in the building, but all I could see was just energies. I just focused on energies. When I'd see shadows moving up and down the hall. That's pretty much what they were, just shadows, and there were just people in the hospitals. But when my family came in, as we all say, we hear people saying you can see their aura, you can see different energies. Well, all I saw was just shades of like love and passion and warmth, like yellows and reds and oranges coming down the hallway. And I saw the figures of them, and I knew who they were, not knowing who they were, because I erased my memory, and I had no damn clue who was in my room, stroking my head and touching my face. Like, this is weird. But I knew who my mother was, I knew who my brothers were, I knew who my sisters were, and my nephews. I just knew them by their energy. It resonated with my spirit, and I got it. So as they came in, I started seeing that, and then as I came out of the coma and I was able to finally start seeing again, I realized this is where it connected, where I made a direct connection to spirit and just said, you know what, let me just be a conduit, just fuel me and guide me. As I'm sitting there looking at my feet, my left foot just sitting there, not moving, right foot's wiggling around, couldn't figure out what was going on. Spirit said, connect with the earth, Daniel, and you shall be healed. Consume the earth, and you'll be consumed. Took a little while to ponder on that. I had all day anyway, so. As I'm sitting there thinking what to do, when I came outside, my mother would wheel me outside in the wheelchair every day, every other day. You saw the one picture there on the screen. As she wheeled me outside in the wheelchair, I just pointed my foot and pointed to the ground, pointed my foot, pointed to the ground. Finally, the communication went through, and she took my foot off the wheelchair and put my feet on the ground. And as she did that, I started feeling tingling energies from the earth resonating through my feet. And so when I was getting back inside, I was actually able to go in myself and just see the energy and help guide it and just take it all in and take it all up and reconnect and work with my body, because I knew that parts of my brain obviously didn't work because parts of my body didn't work. I didn't know where or what it was. I just knew that it just didn't function. So when I brought the energy in, I just started focusing on wherever there was dark energy or a void, I saw the energy going there and healing it. Then as I started trying to move my left hand, because my left hand was stuck like this after enduring all the strokes, or like similar to strokes, they said. It was similar to having 3 severe strokes and 4 massive heart attacks. Either way, my hand was stuck like this. So I'm trying to move my fingers, and a lapel mic would really be cool. Oh, there we go. Hello, sugar. As I'm trying to move my fingers, all I learned how to do was to mirror what I wanted to do on the right side of my body to what I wanted to do on my left side. So I started going like this. Trying to move my fingers, it wouldn't move, so I just go like this. And then finally got it to move and got my whole hand to move. The interesting part was the main finger that moved on my body was this one here. It went like this. That was actually... And y'all started laughing at this, but as I'm going down the hall, I'm so excited because they said my hand was going to be stuck like this the rest of my days. I'm so excited. I get my hand like this. I say, and you got to figure, my mentality of where my brain was at this time, I was probably about 3 years young. This is the second after I got out of the first hospital. They put me into the rehabilitation, TRI, Toronto Rehabilitation Institution. I think it's on University Avenue. And I was down in there, and I'd walk by, and I was so excited. I was like, look, I can do it. Look. And the one nurse goes, Mr. Bax, we're so excited, but keep that one to yourself. Not quite understanding what they said, or what they meant, but after I got a few snarled remarks and quirky eyebrows, I realized, okay, I'll show them something else. Hey, look! I was so excited I can move my finger. What the heck? So from there, I started moving my body, moving my legs, moving my toes, focusing on what I could do with my feet. Now here's the thing is, when I was in the hospital, I was laying there, and family would come in, and how many times, this is a question for you all, just smile and nod, you guys do that really well, we've mastered that, is after, when someone says we go to do something, we attempt to do something, how often do we attempt it? Maybe 2, 3 times? Sometimes we end up giving up after the first time, sometimes maybe a few more, but it's times when you go with a few more is when you accomplish it. My toe was trying to wiggle, I was wiggling my toe, I was like, whoa. That's cool. And my mother came in, and I just pointed at my foot. Because again, I couldn't speak, and she looks down at my foot. What, hon? What? She looked back at my foot. Nothing. So she goes, let me just take care of you, clean up. I was very, very fortunate she was there, helped clean all my wounds up, because I was just skin grafts all over my body and just wounds everywhere. She looks back down at my foot, because she cleans up. She goes, okay, hon, what's up? I just pointed at my foot again, and then my toe went like this. And from there, I started moving all my toes, and in time, my foot, my leg, and my body. Then I just started focusing on what more I could do. And again, as I mentioned a moment ago, everything that I was doing on my left side, or I was attempting to do on my left side, I'd mirror it with the right side because I knew that that would somehow create a connection that I would actually be able to manifest it on the left side. So it was all just me playing with the game of the mind. Again, going back to what I mentioned before, it's thought. If I had thought, this is a waste of my time. Why am I doing this? I've attempted this how many times and the toe's still not moving? Do you think I'd be standing here, guys? Do you think I'd be playing around with this machine? That was a bugger to put together, but do you think I wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be here if we weren't consistently driven and passionately about what we want to do and attempt to create what we want to do, whether you have children, whether you have a new career, whether it be in healing, whatever it may be. When you're driven passionately and you know that there's a greater purpose at the end of the tunnel that you're trekking down, you will always accomplish and achieve whatever it is you can conceive. It's a given. It's just the way of life. It's us as we are. So as I'm going through rehab, again, now moving from that rehabilitation, they had booked me into a long-term facility because they didn't think I was ever going to move anything more than wiggling my toe. And as I started walking and moving around, and here's the fun part, the memory again. What about memory? It was definitely a challenge because there's multiple times I come down to the room in a wheelchair, and it was a common room where we were sitting. And I had no idea where I was, no clue where I was. I'd actually have to ask the staff where I lived, and they say, Mr. Bax is down the hall there, X number of doors on the right-hand side or on the left. But they'd guide me because I'd literally get lost on the main floor. The memory was like shot. And what I did for that and to harness that is I would purposely put things in places in the facility and in my homes on purpose. I place whatever it may be, like an eraser up on a window ledge or a shoe over here. Why? Just so that I could remember where I placed it, so I can train myself. Everything we do, guys, if it doesn't come natural, you got to create the natural ways of being. You got to create it so it's so habitual that and if we got challenges in remembering things, which I still do at certain times, I find if I have an intention and a purpose to remember what it is, it comes back so clear. If I don't, and I don't really locked into, it's not very passionate for me at that moment, that's when it drifts off. So it's everything that we're stepping into today, wherever we are, whenever we're taking on, if you find that your memory's getting a little slippery or you say, you're like, some people say, well, it's getting a little older, it's all because of age. No, it's because you're not as passionate or driven or as focused on what you want. So whatever it is we choose to do, when we choose to see it and feel it and truly have a passion for it, it'll just come to us. Get a little lost there on track. Back on track. Where was I? Thank you. I love it. I got a good laughter squad over here. It's but with the memory and with the movements, it was everything that I had to learn. Everything I had to train myself to do everything, and I realized just in wanting to do and become more, like when I would go into rehab, I'd go into one rehabilitation facility, and they would always bring me, say like a newbie, because I was so destroyed and I couldn't move or couldn't function, I could barely do anything. And my gift, my goal was to always accomplish more and get out of there, because I didn't really want to stay in a place where I'm dysfunctional all day long. So my passion was I was so passionate about achieving and accomplishing and just becoming more and healing myself, that within a very, very, very short period of time, like I'm talking less than 2 weeks, I wasn't able to work with the new person anymore. I had to advance on to the next and graduate myself up. And I said, I want to work with her. She's the facilitator, and she only works with people that are advanced. And I was like, I'll be working with her by next week. And very often within 2 or 3 days, I was working with whoever it was I wanted to work with. Give or take, when I found out where I wanted to go, I made it happen. And it's because the intention was there, and ultimately, I saw the vision of where I was going to be. I knew that I was going to be standing here. I knew that I was going to be out biking and cycling and playing around and enjoying life again, that I could experience life again. I didn't want to have a limitation to stop me and say, you can't do this because of that, or you can't do this because of that. That's just a self-perception or a limited belief as to how powerful we are. Just step up. Step up. Anthony Robbins, actually one of the greatest things they did was, when I was in the hospital, they played Anthony Robbins by the bed because they knew that I followed him deeply and thoroughly before. My business was always growing, and I actually took on his teachings and modality and lessons, they played it by the bed over and over and over again. And the main thing that stuck in my mind is a statement he makes pretty much every seminar I've been to. It's, I can, I will, and I must make a difference. And that was all that I heard not all that I heard, but when I heard his voices and his words coming through, talking about just stepping up and being more and becoming the best you can, I heard, I can, I will, and I must make a difference. Whenever I wanted to attempt something, if I wanted to attempt walking and I was wobbly, or try to sit up and I was too floppy, that would go back to my mind. I can, I will, I must. So I went back out and pushed even harder and attempted it again and again and again. And who was it? Mark Victor Hansen said to me, he goes, Daniel, you go as far as you can see. And when you get there, you'll see how you can go further. So there's never a limit. There's never an end to where you want to go. The greatest thing is we are an ever-expanding species. We always want to expand and do and become more, and we have the gifts and the talents to do that. Step up, guys. Whatever it is we want to do in life, know where you want to go, draw a map, and go for it. You don't end up in BC just by wandering, meandering across the country. You draw a map and you create a vision and you create a purpose to get there, and you go. Like I am from BC to here next year. I think it's next year. Oh, shit, I better start training. But really, we are so incredible. What we have in our bodies and who we are is absolutely magnificent. And as I mentioned earlier, as the Spirit said to me, connect with the earth, Daniel, and you shall be healed. Consume the earth, and you shall be consumed. It took me a little bit to figure that out, but when I realized, as I was going through the surgeries, by the way, I had one surgery a month for 3 years. I've now had 36 surgeries. And the reason why I had them that often, once a month, was because I tapped into the natural modalities. I connected with my homeopathic nutritionist, my homeopathic doctor, you name it. We got these beautiful energies here now. Homeopathic here, I just had people that worked with me with natural remedies and natural elements, and I did, and Reiki was one big thing that I learned to do on myself. I was in the hospital, and meditation every day. I meditate every day. I didn't have nothing else to do. No excuse, but it actually worked really well, because when I was meditating, it actually guided me as to where I was going to go. But I tapped into the natural modalities, and by doing that, the average person has one surgery. If they have to have another surgery, 4 to 6 months. It's so distant, because it takes them that long to heal. I had one every 4 to 6 weeks for 3 years, because I just knew how. I wanted to get it over and get it done with, because I knew I had greater purpose and a greater vision and a greater reason to be here in this life and to serve people, that I needed to step up and create this body and fine-tune it as well as I possibly could. So I tapped into any energy modality that I possibly could. And we've got some beautiful energies here today that we'll be sharing with you, the gifts and the knowledge and wisdom of what they do that will really make a significant difference in helping yourself heal. And then I also knew that if I had a surgery and I really wanted to turn this body up and really wanted to pump all these chemicals out of my body, I would pedal back and forth to my physiotherapy instead of taking like Easy Trans or Transcab or whatever they are, just to do an extra bit of physio. And my physio was 6 to 8 hours a day, and in between then with my physio added on top of that, with what I would do, it was 12 hours a day. I had physiotherapy every single day for 3 years. And from that just allowed me to advance on and on and on. And I went from one facility to the next facility to the next facility. When I got into the first facility, they say, I was wheeled in a wheelchair, and the guy who runs the facility came down and he goes, Mr. Bax, what's your goals here? I couldn't speak very well. Basically, I said to him, I will leave here in a year. He goes, okay, we'll work on that later. We need some more realistic goals. Now, Mr. Bax, like, what is your goals here? I was like, I want to leave here in a year. And he goes, okay, we'll talk about that later. Either way, the driven intention and passion of myself getting out of there and actually healing myself, because I knew I had a message to share. I had to be up and I had to be a face of possibility and human potential. I left that facility in 7 months. I left the next facility in 6 months. And they had already booked me for a long-term care facility. I was like, don't waste my time. I'll go and look at it, because they made me. I had to wheel around a wheelchair. But I was like, by the time you get that booked, I'm going to be out of this wheelchair, and I'm going to be moving, and I'm going to go on to the next place. And that was my driven intention. It was basically what it was. I wasn't allowing other people's opinions to become my reality. Their limited beliefs of what is possible, because they've seen so many years of all the different people that haven't made it. it becomes a way of being, and they have a belief that it's impossible. Well, even that word itself, and I ask everybody to work with me on this, even that word itself, impossible. If you said the first two letters and then said the word possible, what does it say? All together now. I am possible. So when they said, Mr. Bax, that's impossible, I was like, okay, well, I'm just relearning my life, learning how to spell. And they said, okay, Mr. Bax, you want to say something? You got to learn how to do the word? Spell it out. Okay, I am possible. Thank you. So they said, Mr. Bax, that's impossible. I want to do this. I want to learn how to climb stairs. Mr. Bax, that's impossible. Thank you. Because every time they said that, I heard, I am possible. So I took it on as a belief, which is my way of living now. You say it's impossible? Place it in front of me and give me a little time. I'll show you how powerful and possible it is. And then I'll tell you what, in doing that, then I'll break the records of what happened, or who did it before. Just to go to show you that we are ever expanding and so powerful and so possible. When we choose to, we can do anything our mind can imagine. And on this, guys, and from here is now you saw the little monkey gym set I have here and playing around. But it's just to go to show, it's like, it doesn't matter where you are, what you've been through. Step up. Because I can and I will and I must make a difference in my life. And in my life, I can, I know I will, and I must make a difference in the lives around me that are enduring any kind of challenge. And this, I thank you all very much for your time, for being here, and I truly hope that you get the message to know that you have, as I said there, endless potential. Step into your possibility, guys. And let's move this forward and step up. Thank you so kindly.
Awesome. So was I right? Was that inspiring, and was that a little bit more intense in my story? Oh, yeah. Well, I don't want you to think it's just guys that get head injuries and we're the guys running from ego and doing all these extreme sports and silly motorcycle accidents. So we've got a few other beautiful people here. The next one is Melody Lee.